Welcome to the Simply Jenna podcast. This is Breaking the Stigma, a special mini-series. Join us as we interview different people and talk about their journey to wellness. If you have thought about getting support but were afraid, or are afraid of what others might think, this series is for you. Stay tuned for some really good stories.
All right. Thank you, Matt, so much for joining us.
Well, good morning, everybody. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
This is not my show.
No.
I'm a guest.
Feel free.
You guys look beautiful today.
Thank you.
I'm a little nervous. I have never done a podcast. And this studio is nicer than mine at Jack FM.
Oh, thank
well,
you.
then there you go.
What do you want to know?
Oh, don't worry. We've got a list.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I got to go pick up kids at arenas right now. So let's get to it.
Yeah, let's hurry up.
All right.
Okay. So first question is, okay, some of our listeners may know you from the radio, but for those that don't, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I host a morning show at Jack 96.9 here in Calgary. I started that probably in 2004. Then I fell off the cliff and had a lost weekend for 2 years, 3 years, and then they hired me back because they figured, well, that wasn't very smart. Let's get him back.
Yes.
And they found out he was sober and back at it. And happy to say that Sarah Crosby and I are doing a great job.
Oh, you
because
are.
that's what she tells me.
Yes. And it's true. It's
Yes,
amazing.
absolutely.
Such a good show. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a fun fact for us?
A fun fact
Yes, about you.
about me: I can touch my nose with my tongue.
Okay.
Ready? Are you ready?
We don't need to see it. I want to see it. Oh my God. He can do it.
I can do it.
He can do it.
We validated that for everybody.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. He can do it.
Anyway, I want to say it's an honor to be here. You guys, I've been listening to your podcast for a while now, and I think you're doing some great work.
Thank you.
And it's very much appreciated. You reached out to me after a story I shared on air a couple of weeks ago about COVID crashing.
Yes.
COVID crashing.
Yeah.
So I'm an alcoholic, sober for 2.5 years now.
Okay.
But having some issues over the last, I did a couple of weeks ago. I shared that on the show.
Yeah.
And then you guys reached out.
Yes.
And I was appreciative of that. So it's good to be here.
And
you.
we are so honored that you
Oh,
agreed to come
honored.
on.
Yeah, that's excessive word.
It's so true. We were so
seriously.
excited.
Yeah.
Like when you responded to us, we were just over the moon.
Yes.
So
Oh,
excited.
absolutely.
So thank you.
No, I'm just a hockey dad in Calgary doing his best to get by
Yes.
at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah.
We're just so excited that you're here with us, and we think that you're hilarious.
Yes.
So now I'm setting it up a little bit, right?
Yeah, so let's get this thing. Let's get to the funny crap.
Okay, first I have some questions.
Okay, I have answers.
Okay. Greatest singer of all time.
Bono, Johnny Cash,
Okay.
in that order.
Okay. Greatest song of all time.
God's Gonna Cut You Down, Johnny Cash.
Okay.
Can I do two?
Yeah, I guess so.
Walking Barefoot, you two.
Okay.
Okay, so then my question is, what makes Bono the greatest singer of all time?
I think I think U2's lyrics are reflective. I think they're empathetic and they're just magnificent.
Yeah.
And just personally, that's what I grew up on.
Yeah.
And to this day, I enjoy them. I try to teach my kids that this is what you should listen to.
Yes.
However, they say, no, that's stupid. Because I want to listen to Rap Nation. And then, I was trying to go to bed the other night. Okay? And I'm trying to go to sleep.
Yeah.
And I just moved into a new place.
Yeah.
And his shower, I have a 13-year-old.
Yeah.
Oh, no, actually, how old is Mike? What's his name again?
Exactly.
So Liam's 15.
Okay.
And then I have a 12-year-old as well. So I just moved into a new place.
Yeah.
And the 15-year-old has one of those speakers. Now, you guys are younger than I am. What are they called?
Like
Like a
Portable.
like a Beats
Like a-
speaker.
Like a beat speaker.
Yeah.
So he hangs it on the shower and he's listening to rap music. And he's singing things that I'm like, oh my God, you can't use, do you do that at mom's house? Because those words should not be coming out of your mouth. And then it reminded me, when I was a kid, if I was listening to Judas Priest or Iron Maiden or
Yes.
Metallica,
Yes.
my kids thought, or my parents thought I was a Satan worshiper.
Yeah,
Exactly.
of course.
Yes.
Yeah, so yeah, we have to have that conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can't get them into U2 or hip.
Right.
Oh my God, really?
Well, I'm trying to.
I
That's my
know.
goal in life right now.
But it's hard, right?
Terrible that it's such a chore.
Yeah.
It is such a chore. Here, listen to this. He goes, that's stupid. There's an expletive in front of it. So we have to have this conversation.
Okay, I have to ask your opinion on one other thing.
All right.
Because I'm a diehard Elvis Presley fan.
Okay.
So what do you think of him? Do you like his music?
Well, I find it very concerning when he moves his pelvis.
Do you find it offensive?
I find it offensive because I was watching the Ed Sullivan Show
Just the other day.
Oh yeah.
And I'm glad that they moved the camera
Right.
up so they didn't show his waist down because I think that's concerning for the kids.
It does awful nasty things.
It doesn't. Yeah. It makes you uncomfortable.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Not like the Rap Nation.
Rap Nate. Oh God. As soon as my kids get in the car and one of them says, hits the, what do you call it? Rap Nation. I said, no. Why don't you say Jack 96.9? No, because that sucks. Do you want to hear Steve Miller?
Steve Miller. Oh my God.
I like Steve.
I love Steve Miller.
I want to fly like an eagle.
Yes,
Exactly.
That's right.
But I don't, yeah.
Oh my
God, that's so funny. Okay, now that we have that settled.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
These are the most societal,
Yes.
important issues of our time.
That's right. Exactly.
Um,
So we're gonna dive right in then
Yes.
to the maybe-
Issues.
Yeah.
The issues.
The interesting part of the conversation.
Here's what I'm excited about.
Tell us.
Is that I'm sitting in a studio in an office for an hour
yeah.
with psychologists, and I don't have to leave and go to the front desk
Yes.
and pay $300, which I do every week. Oh, you're saying, maybe I do?
Yeah. We forgot to
We'll
tell
see
you
how
that
this
part.
goes.
Okay.
We'll see how this goes.
That was in the fine print of
Yeah.
you agreeing.
Right. Oh my God.
Join.
Do this.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, the agreement was a text saying I'm here, so I'm not sure that's legally binding.
To be discussed later.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's right. Okay, so you mentioned when we started off that you have had some struggles with alcoholism.
Yep.
So do you want
Some.
Okay, maybe more than some. Do you want to share with us a little bit about your journey? What does your journey look like?
What does my journey look like?
Yes.
Well, definitely an alcoholic. Sober for 2.5 years now, but it's been definitely, as you suggested, the word journey, very much so. So I'm a radio show host, have been since for 30 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
So I started off in Ontario.
Yeah.
And did small markets and worked my way up and ended up doing a morning show in Toronto by 30 years of age, which was somewhat unprecedented.
Yeah. Yes.
And I ended up doing well.
Okay.
They moved out to Calgary when I was in 2000.
Okay.
And not only alcoholism, but mental health. I know you guys are fantastic, and I think it should be appreciative that you guys talk about that. Ever since I was a kid, I've had issues with that.
Okay.
And that many years ago,
Wow.
it was tough to put your finger on the voices
Right.
in your head
Right.
that suggest you're an awful person.
Right.
And that's what they said to me. But at the same time, I grew up in a fantastic household.
Yeah.
I have 2 younger brothers. I got a teacher and a lawyer as a brother. They're back in Peterborough, Ontario.
Yeah.
I have wonderful parents.
Yeah.
And so I grew up in a great household. But I was always shy as a kid. Very shy and very, yes.
Really? You?
Really. So let me get to the, I was very shy and very concerned about people's opinion of me.
Yeah.
So dealt with that. And then as I got into high school, I found a way to make people laugh.
Okay.
And that sort of covered
Yes.
maybe my true self.
Yes. Right.
Does this make sense? I'm talking to a psychologist. Does that make sense? So I found a way to cover that, my insecurities. And, I found myself doing stand-up comedy, found myself getting into radio and did quite well at it. And then as time went on, my mental concerns at the same time I covered them up with alcoholism. And maybe you can tell me this as a psychologist, which comes first?
Oh man.
I think that's a great question. Which comes first, alcoholism or mental illness? Because my parents have recently told me that they both run in our family.
Okay.
So one exasperates the other at some point.
Yes.
So which comes first?
I think it's a chicken and egg question.
Yes,
totally.
it definitely is, right?
Is that there is no, one anything with mental health is that there is no one path, right? And there is no one definite answer. So I think what's important is your understanding of what's happened for you, right?
And and as I go through this and talking to professionals, and I do AA meetings and psychologists, so those two different facets of one's mind, they coalesce, and you have to identify them and figure out how to deal with them. I moved to Calgary in 2000, had the Matt and Eric show for quite some time, and then in about 4 years ago, we were told our contract was up.
Okay.
And they said to us, okay, we're going to keep paying your salary, but you can't work anywhere.
Oh.
Called the non-compete clause.
Okay.
So if you're getting paid a lot of money to sit at home, when it first happened, I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be awesome. I can golf every day and make a shitload of cash.
Yes. Greatest thing ever.
But then fall comes.
Yes.
And you're drinking vodka, watching Netflix at 9 a.m. as soon as you've taken the kids to school.
Wow.
And it just evolved into a place where it was awful.
Yeah.
It was awful. I mean, a beautiful wife, Paige.
Yeah.
Great kids,
Yeah.
Liam and Beck. And it was it was just a great life.
Yeah.
And then that happened.
Yeah.
And then you have competing voices in your head.
Yes.
And so I end up doing stuff that I should not have.
Right.
And when kids start finding bottles places, or your wife starts finding bottle places, and you're like, it wasn't me. They're just like, well, Russ, it's not the 10-year-old.
Maybe it
The
was.
10-year-old isn't hiding a bottle of Smirnoff anywhere. And I'm like, oh, maybe it was the past homeowners. And like, we built this home, you idiot. So there's one day, I guess, 4 years ago, there's one day, my kids are great hockey players.
Yes.
And there was one day, 4 years ago, when I was about to take Liam to hockey, and Paige came home at the same time, and he looked at Paige and he goes, "Mom, I don't think Dad should drive me to hockey today."
Oh my God.
And I broke down, and 48 hours I was on a plane to Cranbrook to go to rehab.
Wow.
And this is kind of funny. Like prior to that, our screensaver on the computer was rehab places.
Really?
Which I think, looking back, very clever.
Yeah.
But not so understated. And as an alcoholic, you keep thinking. So this was going on for a couple of years. So yeah, when you have all that free time, and in your head that you probably have a dependency prior to that, but when you have that free time, that's the worst part.
Yeah.
So it just, as I said, evolved. So I was on a plane to Cranbrook and went to it's called Top of the World.
Right.
Top of the World Ranch, which was fantastic.
Yeah.
I would highly recommend it as a vacation place.
So that was going to be our next question, which I don't know if we should ask.
Yeah. Not if it's an ideal vacation spot.
No,
the next
there's chefs.
Yes.
There's horseback riding.
Okay.
There's yoga. If it weren't for the fact that you're an alcoholic, it's like sandals. See, I look back and think, it's not like down on 11th Avenue where you go for 30 days. So I'm in all honesty, I think I'm fortunate that I had the means.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That's a
absolutely.
big thing.
Yeah.
That's the means, and it was great. I can't give praise to them enough. I mean, great counselors, great environment, and the tools were fantastic. It was very holistic, and also the base of it was there was the indigenous peoples.
Yeah.
There was like
Elder. Maybe.
there's elders. Yeah, there's an elder there that sort of ran the place. So you have sweat lodges
Nice.
that I spent like 8 hours in.
Oh, wow.
So there's and walkabouts and fasting.
Yeah.
So it taught me a lot.
Good. So the question is does going to treatment look like what they show you in the movies that you're like?
I got what? I'm sure they're all different. I mean, that's my only experience.
Yeah.
And I'm going to fast forward. It worked.
Okay.
But then I relapsed.
Yes. Yes.
Can I back up for just 1 second?
Yeah.
Because there's a question that I want to ask about so what led you up to kind of going to treatment that time to Cranbrook? Because you said that your son had made that comment about not driving him to hockey, right?
Yeah.
Did you know prior to him saying that
Yes.
that there was something wrong?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. And so
because you have those you have those competing voices in your head, and if you're told every day, and this is just advice to anybody who has somebody in their life that you suspect or know, not suspect, let's be honest, who know are drinking too much.
Yeah.
Don't just say stop drinking,
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
because it's hard to explain as an alcoholic the necessity
Yeah.
Right.
to drink. It's a physical
Yes.
dependency,
Yeah.
and I to this day can't explain why it is.
Yeah.
But even to this day, I still have that want.
Yes.
But you have to find triggers or inspirations or powers beyond you to not drink.
Right.
And to this day I do that, and I've been finding it actually difficult over the last couple of months during COVID. But at that time, my inspiration to stop drinking was the kids. They would often say, "Dad's acting weird again,"
Really? Okay.
and I'd be found passed out.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
And I would look at the kids and I'd cry. I'd be upset.
Right.
And this is amidst a good life.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you're living in suburbia and everything's great and blah blah blah. But there's that physical need, and you can't explain why it is. And you try to tell people, I'm going to quit. I'm getting hammered this weekend, but Monday.
Right.
Monday's the day. Monday, I'm going to stop drinking. Guess what? Monday never comes.
Yeah.
Until something triggers you to say, okay. So I went to rehab, and I cannot. If someone out there right now listening is going through this, rehab is definitely wonderful,
Yeah.
needed,
Yeah.
and great.
Okay.
Fantastic.
But then you do relapse.
Yeah.
And if I can tell a quick story about
Yeah.
Yes.
Please do.
So while I was at rehab, I fell in with a guy named Nick. Nick became my best friend. Nick and I, he was an early riser. He's a Canadian veteran, late 20s, served in Afghanistan, and he was there on opiate addiction. And he and I would meet at the lodge at 5 a.m. Every morning. Start the fire, make each other hot chocolate. And as I look back, you think about all of your best friends in life.
Yeah.
But the amount of hours you have spent with them,
Right.
when you think about the fact that I spent 24 hours a day with Nick, he was my housemate in a cabin.
Yeah.
You spend all day together. You go to counseling together.
Yeah.
You go on walkabouts together.
Yeah.
You do all this. I just love him dearly.
Yeah.
And so you have 45 days together.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. Love him dearly. So after I got out of rehab, got home, the problem was that I still didn't have a job to come home to.
Oh, right. Okay.
So there's still all that free time. Now I did great for 2 months.
Yeah.
I was doing AA, following the plan that they had taught me.
Yes.
Then I got a call from the resort. I'm sorry, not the resort.
I didn't even. Yeah. I missed that.
And Nick was found dead
Oh my God.
in a motel room.
Oh my God.
No.
Oh.
Why would I lie?
Oh my God. That's awful.
So he had overdosed.
Oh.
Oh my God.
So I decided, okay, I'm gonna. So the rehab center decided to have
Memorial.
A memorial.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for, and have a sweat lodge
Yeah.
in his honor.
Oh my God.
And so I decided, okay, I got on a plane, flew out, spent 48 hours there just to celebrate his life. And I was asked to talk about him because I don't know if you understand this, but I talked a lot while I was there. So they thought I would be a good person to give a memorial.
Yeah.
And I look back on this and think, how counterintuitive is this? What do you think I did when I got back?
Gosh. Of course.
I relapsed.
Yes.
I mean, it's so stupid. And then a couple of months after that, my wife at the time and the kids had a vacation that went off for 3 days, et cetera, and knock on the door, and I was served with divorce papers.
Wow. Oh my God.
So what do you think I did then?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It's just, but it's so, and as a psychologist, tell me this, how stupid is that? So you drink being provoked by issues that made you drink, and those are the problems. No, it's a question for you.
Yeah.
Why are you just looking at me?
I'm waiting for you to finish, actually.
Anyway, so that happened. Then I found myself living in a condo in Auburn Bay, and things are just shitty.
Yeah.
Shitty.
Yeah.
But here's what made me stop drinking, and this sounds so. Wanting to gain the respect of my children and regain that and appreciation and trust was a guiding force, but I still relapsed.
Yeah.
Here's the oddest one, is that I got a call from my mom one night. My parents live they're older, like my dad's 90.
Oh, wow.
Mom's 85.
Yeah.
And this is three years ago.
Okay.
Right.
So I get a call, and Mom is on the phone crying because she had talked to Paige,
Yeah.
my wife at the time, and knew I was in trouble.
Yeah.
And just a concerned mother, like a wonderful, loving, caring, beautiful human.
Yeah.
And what made me quit drinking was in my head, because you need these triggers to make you stop drinking. And I thought, oh my God, I cannot have them die having let them down.
Oh.
I can't have them pass away thinking I failed them somehow.
Right.
And boom. Hadn't drank since.
Wow.
Wow.
So I keep up with meetings.
Really?
Yeah.
Keep up with
Oh my God.
psychology, or what's the word I'm looking for?
Yeah. Psychology.
Counseling.
Yeah.
Counseling.
Yeah.
And I have a sponsor. I have a best friend, Chad, who's gone through this. And just the culmination of these things. And then, so I get sober. 2 months later, I get a call from Rogers, Jack FM. Hey, our ratings are down. I hear you're clean.
Yeah.
Do you mind coming back?
Wow.
And then
awesome.
3 years later, or 2.5 years later, here we are.
Here you are.
Here I am.
That's
In a
fantastic.
beautiful room with a big sign that says the best is yet to come.
And how true it is.
How true it is.
Because
The
here
best
you
is
are.
yet to come.
Yeah, here you are talking about your story,
Yeah.
right? And
Was that a boring story?
no,
Oh my God.
that is not a boring story.
No.
Oh my. And what's it's so interesting to me, and
Right.
I want to pick your brain about it a little
Okay.
bit because you kept saying like, what a stupid choice, or how stupid is that? And like it sounds like it's coming from a place of that it was a choice.
It's sometimes not a choice.
That's right. Yes.
I found myself, I think, 3 weeks ago during this COVID, and I think people are having to deal with a lot of COVID breakdowns.
Yes.
It was, so my current situation, it's great.
Yeah.
2 different households. I fucking hate that
Yes.
because I grew up in a great family.
Yeah.
I got married,
Yeah.
beautiful, smart, wonderful woman,
Yes.
2 great kids.
Yeah.
And I thought, this is never going to happen to me.
Yeah.
Yet, here you are.
Yeah.
So there's that period during the problems, and you just beat yourself up.
Yeah.
So now today I find myself, okay, this is the way it is.
Yeah.
Right.
And Everybody gets along. There's nothing ugly. Everybody sees each other every day because we got kids playing hockey every day together. Oh, it's So it's freaking. Yeah, like as we speak right now, I have to go to Paige. I have to go to the matrimonial home. I believe it's called.
So wonderful.
It's so wonderful. And so there's an intersection. I mean, like you pick up, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So during COVID, there was, over the last month, there was some periods. So in normal times, I pick up the kids every day from school, take them to an arena. So you have that time filler. Because if you're an alcoholic listening right now, you know you need freaking structure.
Yes, you do.
You need full-time stuff. So during COVID, during those weeks where I did not have the kids and did not have to pick them up from school or take them to hockey, I found myself wandering around my house with those voices saying that shit that I used to hear earlier on when I had full-time stuff going on. And then you have the countering voice saying, well, Matthew, you know how to solve this. Just go to the store, buy a bottle of vodka. Nobody's going to know. No one sees you right now. And I found myself sitting on the bathroom floor of my kids' washroom a couple of weeks ago with my knees, with my head in my knees, arms wrapped around them, bawling for an hour.
Oh, my God.
And I thought, okay. And I just started thinking back to, think about your parents. Think about your kids. Think about your contacts. And I phoned my parents.
Good.
Wow.
And I said, you know what? Mom, just talk to me for a bit. Just talk to me. Just tell me a story. Because as an alcoholic, there's a point when you just want to drink.
Yes.
Because you know it's going to take away pain.
Yeah, of course.
But if you find something else to think about, it can pass.
Yes.
It passes within 10 minutes if you have a different stimuli. So that's what I did.
Yeah, and I think, like, for me, the most important thing is that that really deep understanding that there is a certain point where it is a choice, but then there is a bigger point where it's not a choice, right? And that's why it's mental health. That's why it's an addiction, right? Is that because if you had the choice, you would have not gone where you went in the first place, right? You wouldn't have jumped as far in as you did, right?
That's true, because it's fascinating you mentioned that. I often say I'm an idiot. I'm probably not.
You're not.
No.
But so you look back on the bad choices you made.
Of course,
And you think, well, why did I do that?
Yeah.
So I think at that point, you're like, okay, maybe it's not completely intellectual.
No.
And you were even saying before about how you had that sensation, that physical want, right? Like, and that's something that you can't just shut off, right? So that's something that was coming from you that you can't control, right?
Yeah.
So that's
no, and it's important for people to know that are struggling, right? And for, people that are around people that are struggling, because there is a little bit of a misconception that, like, why is, dad choosing to do this? Why is mom choosing to do this? Why does my brother keep choosing, drugs over me or choosing alcohol over me, whatever it is? It's not really a choice, right? It's mental health. It's addiction. It's out of your control because we are all good people and we would never purposely choose to hurt the people that we love the most like that, right?
And if people are listening and they're suffering from alcoholism, they think, well, I'm never going to get out of this or regain the respect of my kids. Here's what's happened lately, which helps me not drink.
Yeah.
The kids, the trust is regained.
Wow. Yes.
The respect is regained. Yeah. The appreciation of driving in a freaking hockey every day is regained.
Listening to Rap Nation.
And they're getting to the age where they're 14 and 12 now, and they're actually saying things that make me well up. Yeah. They'll come home and from watching just getting into situations where alcohol is involved, and one of them said the other day, "I'm proud of you."
Oh my God!
Because they remember what it was really a couple of years of horrendous, like 40 ounces a day.
Oh my God!
Oh my God!
And they remember that, and now they're they're saying, I'm proud of you.
Yeah. What's that like for you?
It's just hard. It's just everything.
Yeah.
It makes me get up the next morning and get back to work.
Yeah.
And look forward to every moment with them, and knowing I'm probably going to live longer
That's right.
today than I probably would have lived
Yeah.
in the same situation 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And again, just another beautiful coping strategy, right? That when you are in those moments where you're on the floor, head between your knees, is to remember to hear those
Yes.
words, right?
Yeah.
To hear those words and to say, this is why I keep pushing through, right? And this is why I'm choosing to stay on the path that I'm on, right?
And good on you for
Yes.
doing that in these times,
Yeah.
because anybody, we're all faced with such a great challenge right now in living through this pandemic, and that it's unlike anything we've ever experienced in our lifetime.
Yeah.
So we don't have the skills to know how to cope with that. So the fact that you have to have these other coping skills on top of
Yes.
other coping skills to just get through this pandemic piece is fantastic.
Because
right?
I found going into, and alcoholism aside, going into COVID, I was excited. This is going to be awesome. And for the first few months, I was like, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened. I don't have to go out and deal with people. I can just stay home.
Yes. Nobody's going to talk
Nobody's going to talk to me.
Yeah.
Oh, it was,
come near me.
oh, it was great.
Yes.
Yeah, but then at some
It's not
point,
so great.
then suddenly it's not so great. But I'm glad we're coming out of it now.
Yeah.
And I really
absolutely.
think the whole COVID thing was and continues to be a recipe for disaster for those that are suffering with addictions, right? Because it is the perfect storm, right? And just like what you talked about that day, and the reason why we asked you to come on is you said exactly what's happening for the people that are struggling, right? Is that it would be so much easier to just go to the store and
It's
get that
2 minutes from my
Right.
house. Nobody's going to know because you don't have to see anybody.
Right.
I can just buy a bottle of vodka, solve all my problems that are currently going on in my head right now.
For the 10 minutes.
For the 10 minutes.
I was just
But
gonna say,
then you think about, no, because I know that it's going to keep going.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And then that's going to just be a shitstorm
Yeah.
in my life. Job,
Yes.
children,
Yes. Yeah.
friends.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you have to be, like I know you talked about it's not an intellectual choice not to drink, but you do have to be smart.
Yeah, you have to put effort in to not drink because it is an automatic response.
Yeah.
Right? So you have to beat that automatic response. And that's where the choice factor comes in, is that it's not a choice to drink. It's a choice to battle the want to drink, right? I have to make that choice to battle it, right?
Yeah.
And that's what it's about. And that's so hard to do because the natural tendency is to just drink. That's right. Right?
So,
Can I tell you a quick funny story?
yeah.
Because I was thinking about my friend Nick.
Yeah. Tell us.
Just sort of some levity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I loved him
Yeah.
dearly. Our greatest joy.
Yeah.
So in the lodge, there's a lot of games.
Yeah.
One of them being Jenga.
Yeah. Okay. It's a good one.
It's a fun game, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've played it. But
This is going to sound horrible,
Yeah.
but I look back on it and laugh.
Oh.
Are you ready for this?
Oh God, I don't know.
You don't know? Look at her eyes. She's very concerned right now.
Exactly. Yes, she is.
So whenever new clients would come,
Oh, what would you do?
do you know where I'm going? We'd invite them to play Jenga.
Of course you would.
There's nothing funnier than watching somebody in detox
I was gonna say.
trying to play Jenga.
That is just mean.
That's mean. But oh my, yeah.
That is mean.
It definitely made us laugh.
I'm glad you got
I'm
your
glad-
jollies out of
Yeah.
that. Exactly.
Like we've been there for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
New people come in.
that was your entertainment.
That was our Jenga.
absolutely.
Hey, let's play some Jenga. We have some poor kid from West Van
Oh my God.
trying to play Jenga. Shaking like Elvis Presley.
You won every time, didn't you?
Yeah.
Well, not, a few weeks in.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, what's next?
Oh my God.
Okay.
Come on, is this my show or yours?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I
really.
want to know.
Yeah.
So, you mentioned a few things that were sort of really important to your success and to your sobriety. Is there one thing that has been like the key for you to maintain your sobriety, or is it a culmination of many things?
It's finding things to fill that 10 minutes.
Okay. Yeah.
Like I can say, like, it's thinking about the kids, or it's thinking about my parents,
Right.
or it's thinking about keeping my job.
Right.
Those are great.
Yeah.
And they do the job 24 hours a day and not to drink.
Yeah.
But on those times where you're like, okay, I really need a fucking drink,
Yeah.
you got to do something else.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You just have to find so I do the show every day.
Yeah.
And then before COVID, I go to the Y, I do laps.
Yeah.
Then I have an AA meeting.
Good.
Then I pick up kids.
Yes.
Then I go to hockey arenas.
Structure.
It's structure.
Structure.
That's what it is. Because, just to take your mind off that want, it's just finding something to do.
Yeah.
It's going for, and during COVID, I'm saying that's why I've been struggling lately.
Yeah. Of course, yeah.
Just go for a walk.
Yeah.
Phone somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Find a project.
Yeah.
Find a hobby.
Yeah.
Because those 10 minutes pass.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you're back to where you were
Yeah.
prior.
Yeah.
Are there certain things for you in your experience that are triggering for you to say like that's when you need your drink? Like, are there certain things in a day that you experience, or is it just a sensation
It's free time.
okay.
Yeah, see, a lot of people talk about triggers being at a bar
Right.
Right.
or being around people that are drinking. I haven't found that.
Yeah.
Like, I can meet friends for lunch
Yeah.
and have a Coke.
Right.
That's not a trigger for me. I recognize I've talked to people that there are triggers
Yes,
if they're
yeah.
around people that drink.
Yes.
For me, not the case.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Not the case at all.
Yeah.
I can sit around from people. I mean, you two right now are doing shots of Jack Daniels, and I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not triggered.
Don't
right?
tell them. Don't tell
That was
them.
supposed to be a secret.
And I'm not triggered. But I do because as individuals, be it real in regular things or alcoholics, everybody are individuals.
Of course. Yeah.
So yeah, for me, that's not. There's no real triggers outside of free time.
Okay. But I'm glad that you shared that though, because I think like there are misconceptions of what alcoholism looks like and what it looks like for a person to be living, a sober life and all of these pieces. So I'm glad that you're sharing your experience of what,
Because it's all different.
of how you deal with it. Right.
Yeah.
I think that's fantastic.
So, in my practice, I've worked with people that are
You're
struggling.
still
with-
practicing?
Yeah, of course.
Become a pro at some point.
I know, right?
Right?
Oh my gosh. I'll never be a pro. Never. We're always learning. So working with people that are struggling with alcoholism, a comment that I often hear is, how could I ever live the rest of my life without having another drink? Is that what I really have to do to get over?
You just got to turn it upside down.
Yeah.
How can you live a life by having a drink?
Yeah.
If you recognize that life really fucking sucked
Yeah.
and caused problems when you were drinking. So yeah, I hear people say that, like, oh my God, I can't go through life without a drink. Well, don't you remember what it was like when you were drinking? So I wake up in the morning and think, well, this is going to be a great day because I'm not drinking. And I'm going to watch my kids graduate and they're going to love me while I'm there. So how can I know? How can I drink?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And it manifests in that it's tough because physically you're like, yeah, I want to drink, but then mentally you have to realize what the circumstances are if you decide to drink. Because I know if I have a drink, then there's going to be 1,000 of them.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah. Yeah. It's so interesting, right? Because that's always one of the first conversations we have, right? Is that, well, all my friends drink and what am I supposed to say to everybody that I can't have a drink?
Oh, just say it. Oh my God. Hey, here's what I learned. Nobody gives a shit. Here's what I learned is that people because if I'm at a hockey tournament, or at the bar and somebody says, come on, have a drink. No, I can't.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, they're going to judge me that I can't have a drink. No, they're not. Nobody gives a shit.
Nobody cares. No one cares.
Because if you guys were out last weekend and you're, look at her. What are you looking at me like that for?
I don't know what you're going to say. I'm terrified.
But if you're at the bar last weekend and you were really hungover and somebody said, have a drink, and you said, no, I don't want to drink, they're not judging you. So if an alcoholic says, I don't want to drink, you don't have to explain it. And they don't care.
And the reality is that people really do not care, right? Because we live in a society where people are really just concerned about what's going on with them, right? Yeah. And so, okay, if you say no, okay, great, like I'm more for me, right? Or whatever, right? Like, and people, I think when people are struggling with addiction, there is, like a microscope on what is everybody going to think. Right. And so much pressure that
but we're in a society where it's all about us.
Yeah. 100%.
Why do people care about what they think of it?
Yeah.
Nobody actually cares.
Exactly.
Get it through your head. It's not about you. I don't want to drink they don't give a shit.
I know. But it's such a battle for people. And, but the reality is that, to walk a good path in life, if you are struggling with an addiction, is that, the rest of your life does look like no alcohol, right? Or whatever substance you're using, right? Is that's how we get to where we need to be, right?
So if you could give yourself past self one piece of advice prior to starting your journey to sobriety, what would it have been?
Focus on the things in life that make you happy that don't involve alcohol. When I fell into alcoholism, there were so many great things in my life. There was, like, you guys are psychologists, so you can tell me, was I born an alcoholic? Because when I fell into alcoholism, life was so great. And it's great now, but there was a couple of years where it wasn't. So if I would talk to myself, if I knew now what I know, how's that song go? If I knew then what I know now. Yeah. Right. So I know now. I would tell myself, embrace playing basketball out front with your kids, and don't go into the backyard and sneak a drink in and trying to hide it from them, because that didn't give you as much joy as playing 21 and beating their ass out front. And it didn't. It really didn't.
Yeah.
In hindsight.
Yeah.
That's that makes the whole world of sense to me, honestly.
Yeah. So you said in the beginning, if we know somebody that's struggling with an addiction, with alcohol specifically, and you tell them, stop it, don't drink, it's probably not going to work.
It's not going to work, because I was told that every day.
So what should we say? What do people that are struggling with alcoholism, what do they need to hear? Or what can we do?
Just sit down and be honest and say, I love you. Yeah. I know you have a problem. Let's deal with this together. Let's find the tools. Let's find ways. And it may take some time. And this is going to sound weird, but okay, you're probably going to keep drinking for a little while. But let's get you off that. Yeah. Not just stop drinking or else. Yeah, right. Yeah. That doesn't work. Because I remember when I got back from rehab, and the eyes are always on you. Yeah, right. And so the pressure, and especially if you're dealing with mental health, you're like, oh my God, the pressure is such that I've got to toe the line. Okay, I've got to be focused. I got to do this, but it's just not healthy. So if you're with somebody in your life who you think is drinking too much and you want them to quit, just tell them, listen, I know you're drinking too much. Let's work together on cutting it back. How about you have one glass of wine tonight? Because trust me, that it gives one pause and like, okay, if I can have one glass tonight, instead of just nothing. Because if you're just told nothing, you're like, oh my God, I'm just going to fill myself.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense. I've never actually articulated this before. But yeah, just be there, be present, and say, we have an issue together. Yeah. Let's figure it out. Yeah. Let's slow down, and we'll get to a place where you're not drinking.
And that's beautiful. And I think like, in the clients that I've worked with and what I know to be true of, alcoholism and addiction, just through studying, not experience, but what the books say, right? I think it's recognizing that it's not just one person's problem. Right. Is that, there is a community element that is helpful and just walking that journey with the people that you love is so important. And I think that also there is an element of, there's only so much you can do as an outsider, is that a lot of it has to come from the person that's in it.
Oh,
right.
Definitely. There's no fault, but oneself.
Yeah.
But if the person you're with wants health, longevity, love, appreciation, respect. Yeah. There's a lot they can do.
Right. Yeah.
They can just listen.
Yeah.
Like I wish I was asked, okay, what are the other issues? Yeah. I never really talked about mental health during this period.
Yeah.
I mean, that's sort of been, so yeah, I know people listening to your podcast are coming here for a reason.
Yeah.
Be honest if you have concerns, if you have voices.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I think that's important. It's open, it's honest, and I think the transparency lately is a little more accepted.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I think so for sure. I think we're making gains in that area. We still have some work to do because I think there's still that stigma is still out there, but I feel like we're on a better path. Yeah. I have one last question for you.
And here's you two on Jack. Oh, I'm sorry. I zoned out there for a second. Forgot where I was talking into a mic.
Yeah. This is Simply Jenna podcast. Yeah,
exactly. Still.
For those listening.
Yeah, not Jack.
Why has it been important for you to share your story?
Yes.
I think it's all important. Yeah. I have a voice.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely losing it. It sounds like in my head, but I have friends who have these issues. I've met people who have these issues, and I've over the last couple of years I've been texted and asked how do I do this?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
How do I do this? And then I realized, well, holy shit, I have a couple 100,000 listeners. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? So why not be honest? Totally. And in today's society, as you mentioned, the stigma today, the stigma is it's fading away.
Yeah.
So maybe I can help.
Yeah.
And thank you.
Yes. No, thank you. But I'm not. I mean, let's say back in the day, I'm not going to get on the air and say, "Oh my God, I'm an alcoholic and I'm depressed and I was laying on a bathroom floor." I wouldn't have said that 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't mind saying it today because I'm a new person. I mean, I used to talk about fart jokes and getting laid at Cowboys. What?
The good old days.
Oh, the good old days. But we're in a new world where there's more honesty, and there's more people coming out and saying, "Yeah, I got issues."
Yeah.
So in that I have a microphone, why not just share that? And maybe someone can say, "Oh, me too.
Yeah.
I'm going to get some help.
Yeah.
I'm going to go see Jenna." Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, that's fantastic. And thank you so much, honestly, for using your voice for great reason and for sharing your story.
Well, thank you for the invite.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's been awesome having you join us.
I got to get back to Whitefish. I mean, Cranston. Do you know how far it is from here? Like, I have to stop for lunch and gas.
Yeah, exactly.
Just to get home.
It's a good thing Jenna is giving you some lunch.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Bring
There's
home
lunch
with
at
you,
the lobby.
right?
That's very sweet. You're very good.
Yeah, thank you.
They have a green room.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
Here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a bunch of sandwiches, and then I'm going to pick up one kid at an arena, another kid at a school who's playing basketball, and I'm going to feed them.
Good.
Thanks to you guys.
There you go. See?
Excellent.
Lots of love, guys. Thanks.
Yes. Thank
you so much.
We appreciate it. As always, we will close this episode with a quote
A
from
quote?
Matt. Yes.
A quote.
Yes.
Relevant to what?
What is your favorite quote that you
I have
live
to-
your life by?
I have to come up with this off the top of my head.
Absolutely. This was not pre-planned at all.
There was a great philosopher.
Yeah.
He has passed.
Okay.
His name was George Carlin.
One of the greats.
One of the Plato,
Yes. Then George Carlin.
then George Carlin.
In that order.
In that, no, George Carlin's first.
Right. He was before Plato.
I got to remember this on. You can get the monkey off your back. That doesn't mean the circus has left town.
Love it.
Perfect.
Thank you.